Chris Algieri is live with us. Chris, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, man. You coming off a good win on last night on ESPN, solid opponent in Emmanuel Taylor. How are you feeling?
Physically, mentally, physically I feel great. Another day at the office. I was in great shape coming into this fight, so definitely feeling good in that respect. But in terms of how my career is going and what this means, I'm definitely very excited, feeling good, happy about the performance, and looking forward to the future.
Now, you said another day at the office, so you foreseen this fight looking the way that it did?
Yeah, actually, exactly. I did. With the game plan that we had set forth based on Manny's style and what my coaches had seen and the game plan that we had set, and then me just trusting in my ability to execute the plan. This was pretty much exactly how I expected it. A little differently than maybe I had planned out perfectly in my mind, but no, this is pretty much what myself and my team thought the fight was going to be.
All right. Well, rolling off that same high, Joe Tessitore was beating the drum Friday night while your fight was being telecast on ESPN, at claiming how a win in this fight with Emmanuel Taylor would lead you to a bigger fight, possibly a title shot or something on a bigger network. Do you think that you're ready for the Garcias and the Ruslans and the Lamont Petersons of the world?
I do. I think we're right there. I think I know that Manny was right on the cusp of getting a big fight in either his next fight or the fight after that. And I think that we this fight, one of the reasons I took this fight was to be able to swoop in and take advantage of that. And I think we're ready for that. I think with the right training camps, the right preparation, just like I had for this fight, I think that we can be ready for anybody in the world.
All right, well, I'm going to pass you to Joe Habib.
Okay, Chris, congratulations on your victory. ESPN basically filmed you the day of the fight. Is that something that you thought of, or is that something that ESPN came up to you and approached you with, filming you the day of the fight and then broadcasting it later that night?
No, I was approached about that a couple days prior to the bout, and it was entirely up to myself if I felt comfortable doing it. And I did. I didn't feel like that was going to affect the outcome of the fight in any way. I was going to do what I normally do on fight day anyway. I just had, a couple of guys there and a camera to follow that. It's only, a couple hours, but I think it was good. I think it showcased what fighters go through leading up to a fight. I'm not sure that guys do exactly what I do. I'm sure they don't, but just psychologically what we have to endure and deal with leading up to, a fight a couple hours out. I think I hope that fans, and got to enjoy that.
Now, let's talk about the wind sprints in the middle of winter on the concrete pavement, man. Is that something that you all, that's very unconventional. Who came up with that, and how, you feel as though that benefits you?
I've been doing that for 10 years now. Myself as a professional boxer has only been about 4 or 5 years, but I was a pro kickboxer before that, and I've done that before all of my pro bouts. The reason for that is that I don't like to be stagnant. There's a lot of downtime the week of a fight, taper down week in terms of relative to what you do leading up to a fight in training camp. How many, you're training multiple times a day, 6 days a week, and then fight week comes and you really don't do that much. And I don't like to stay stagnant. I have the mentality that a body in motion stays in motion. So, even, the days prior to a fight, I take completely off so I can rest my body and be 100%. And then, the weigh-in and the day before, for me, it's too much idle time for my body. So I like to open my lungs up, get some blood flowing through my body, especially after making weight and rehydrating, re-eating, and refeeding. I like to get all the blood flowing, get my towels and go, back working, get myself a good stretch and be nice and warm and ready for fight night, which is how I prepare myself during training camp. My best sparring sessions are done where I'm doing, exercises in the morning, and my body is fresh and used to movement. So I want everything to be as comfortable as it is during camp.
Now, Teddy Atlas and Joe Tessitore both said that they thought Emmanuel Taylor looked flat that night. You were in the ring with them. How did he feel? Did he hit you with anything that got your attention? Do you think he was flat, or was that more you took the wind out of his sails because of the pressure that you applied?
Well, I think that the plan was, if anyone who knows my style knows that I started faster than I normally do. That was the plan, was to get on him right away. And I know that he's a slow starter, and then I also know that he tires late in fights. So my idea was to start fast, get out to an early lead, and then use my defense to offset him, his rhythm. He's a high percentage guy. He's not a very busy guy, but he's used to landing often and at a high percentage. So I felt that if I started fast, I would be able to get the early rounds under my belt, and then as he started to pick up, me being able to make him miss and having sound defense, I think would frustrate him even more. So I really never gave him the chance to get set and to be the dangerous power puncher that he is.
I got one last question before I pass you over to James. Now, obviously, you've got a lot going on outside your life. You have a master's degree in, I believe, nutrition or healthcare nutrition, if I'm not mistaken. So there's avenues for you in life. How long do you want to box? Because you could do anything you want right now. You could make a career very easily somewhere else. How long do you want to box? Because you have that safety net.
It's a great question, and really, initially, my answer would be I would want to box until I could complete my goals, because that's how I've been for the other part of my life. But really, I'm going to compete until I feel that I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with how my career has been and how things are going. If things aren't going the way that that I want, and I don't feel like I can correct them, then I can move on. I don't have to do this. I box because I love it. I think it's the best sport in the world. I have a passion for it now, and I'm young enough and that my body reacts properly to training, and I'm still able to perform at a high level. So until any of that or all of that stops, I'm going to keep going.
Okay. Go ahead, Vic. I think James dropped off. Jump in, Vic.
Yeah, Chris, I just got a few questions. Have you gone back and looked at the fight yet, or has that now happened?
Yeah, no, I had the opportunity to watch the fight yesterday. We DVR'd it, and I was able to go back and watch.
If there's anything that you could take away that you don't think that you, I guess, executed properly, is there anything in your mind that sticks out?
Sticks out in terms of I executed properly, or things that I would change, or I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd say something you would change.
I haven't really gotten to the point of really critiquing the fight yet. I'm a pretty harsh critic of myself, but I don't think this early would be a constructive criticism. But as of right now, I'm happy with the performance and the way things went, and I'm going to pretty much leave it at that. At this weekend, I can go and critique it and beat myself up later.
And I'm just wondering, because as a tall fighter, you seem to have the height advantage. I think Teddy was pointing out, you seem to give your height up a little bit, and you seem to bend in. Is that something that just comes naturally, or was that something you were trying to, I guess, maybe counter Manny off a little bit with bending at the waist, or just giving up your reach and height advantage?
I am a tall fighter, but, initially in my career, and especially as a kickboxer, I was an inside fighter. And I think I actually fight really well on the inside, and I think that may be a little bit of a natural tendency of mine. My coach even told me that I'm a better fighter on the inside than Manny is, and that I shouldn't be surprised if I'm able to get the better of him on the inside. But it's not really, it wasn't really part of the plan. It happens at times, and I had to be able to react. And I think I did well on the inside when we were actually close together in terms of defense and landing my own punches.
That's fair. And my final question before James jumps in, obviously Star Boxing has built you as a local crowd favorite. What's the next step? I mean, do you stick on ESPN Friday Night Fights? Do you go to Showbox? Do you do Showtime? Do you do HBO? Where would you like to see yourself next?
Bigger and better. Bigger and better. ESPN was a great opportunity. But I think that I should be on the main stage. I think I belong on Showtime and HBO Fights. I would like to see that next. I had a good opportunity on NBC last year. I don't want to wait another year until I get national exposure. I want to get right back in there and to get on the national stage again. And I'm hoping that opportunity arises and I'm able to secure something like that in the very near future.
Those are my questions. I know James got a few for you.
Yeah, so I dropped off for a few moments, so please stop me if they asked this question while I was off. But I looked at on your background with the kickboxing and the wrestling. What kind of stood out to me was usually when someone has a big background in kickboxing and wrestling, they go the other way to UFC. Mm-hmm. Other than boxing being, I guess, the better of two sports, obviously, what attracted you to boxing for you to, I guess, kind of leave your past history behind with the kickboxing and wrestling and kind of start on a new venture of boxing?
Well, first of all, it's my passion for the sport. I think boxing is literally the best sport in the world. And when it's done right, it's a beautiful thing. But in terms of, MMA versus boxing, boxing has two weapons. It's my left hand and my right hand. Obviously you can use your feet to evade and to move, and that's a big part of it. But a boxer is a true master of those two weapons. And I don't think that MMA has gotten to the point yet in its very young lifespan that there are any real true masters of the sport. There's just too many weapons to try and to master. There's punches, kicks, there's knees, elbows, there's jiu-jitsu, there's ground fighting, there's wrestling. There's just too much, and there's too much room for luck and bad luck, and catching guys and things like that. I just don't think that there's any true masters of the sport yet. I just don't, not because the guys aren't good. I don't think it's just possible yet. The sport is still developing. Boxing is a master science. It's a sweet science. You got guys like Floyd Mayweather. He's mastered his art. He knows exactly what his style is, and he's able to do it across the board. The guy's 45-0. There's a reason for that. You don't see that in MMA champions. Guys are knocking each other off every other month. So that has been the draw for me for boxing. I think the fact that it's a sport where it's been around for a long time, it's age old, it's time tested, and its ability to master the weapons involved in the sport itself.
Now, my last question before I pass you over to Ness is your biggest win, obviously, other than this one, has been over Mike Arnudis. When you watch the Mike Arnudis versus Josecito Lopez fight and see how well he did that give you any sort of confidence to know that you're at the top level, or at least you're ready to be where you need to be?
100%. I actually didn't even watch that fight. I heard about it the next morning, and then I went back and watched it, and I wasn't surprised at all because I know when I fought Mighty Mike, he was in incredible shape. He looked like he was in prime time. I haven't seen him like that in years. I know he took my fight very seriously. His coaches spoke to me after the fight, and he had trained very hard to fight me and really, really was out there to make a statement. And I think when he showed up with Josecito and was in great shape and dropped him and was in that fight, in a very close fight, I wasn't surprised at all. And it did give me, peace of mind to know that I am where I am right now and I belong with the best guys in the world.
All right, thanks a lot. I'm going to pass you back over the net.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chris, I just want to thank you for coming on. It was short notice, and you just had a big fight this Friday, man. But we were definitely going to be tuned in and continue to follow your career, and we wish you the best. And, we hope to get you back on soon.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Anytime you guys want me, reach out to me. I'll definitely be available, and I appreciate the support.
Chris, just give everyone your social media there so they can follow you if they don't already follow you on any social media to get closer to your career.
Great, guys. You check me out on chrisalgieri.com. You've got Facebook, which is just chrisalgieri1. Yeah, Twitter is the same thing. If you can spell my name, you can find me on all my social networks. Definitely check me out, and stay tuned.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.